Good evening, I'm Rick Tillery. Thanks for joining us. Trish has the night off. William Simmons was convicted yesterday of killing 15-year-old Kaelin Glazier. 12 jurors cleared Simmons of murder, instead convicting him of manslaughter. Glazier disappeared in 1996. Tonight, one of those jurors reveals what evidence led them to believe Simmons was the one responsible for the crime. News 10's Jenica Villamore is here with tonight's top story at 6.
Juror Durham tells me he thinks the prosecutors didn't have enough evidence to prove Simmons murdered Glazier, but for him, a recorded police interview years ago was key in the decision to find him guilty of manslaughter. After hours of deliberations, a Jackson County jury found William Simmons guilty of manslaughter in the 1996 death of Kaelin Glazier. That same jury cleared Simmons of murder. Juror Durham says there just wasn't enough to support the charge.
They didn't have any direct evidence and very little circumstantial, so I could not vote guilty on murder.
He says prosecutors didn't have anything that directly tied Simmons to Kaelin Glazier's death.
She was close to his property, and that he was the last one to see her. That's really all they had. If they'd have had more circumstantial evidence that they seen him arguing with her at the store, or they were lovers, there was none of that.
The weapon was never found, and even after 15 years, he says Simmons' story stayed the same.
I just didn't believe that he did it.
But Durham was also convinced Simmons wasn't completely innocent. For him, a tape played in court made all the difference. It was recorded during a police interview years ago, a month after Glazier disappeared.
I asked you earlier, what do you think has happened to Kaelin?
He sounded real calm, no nervousness in the voice and nothing, but you know, the way he talked, I just sensed he probably didn't do it, but he knows something.
The last day of the trial, prosecutors added an additional charge of manslaughter.
We had some evidence about cause of death, but we didn't know exactly what caused her death. And so with that, we felt that it'd be appropriate to give the jurors the opportunity to consider a reckless conduct.
Jurors ultimately decided on the lesser charge, with at least 10 jurors saying he was guilty. Durham confident he did the right thing, and prosecutors happy.
It was a difficult case. It was a very old case, and with the evidence and everything, so we were very pleased with the verdict.
Covering your news in Medford, Jenica Villamore, News 10.
Here's what's next in the case. Simmons' attorneys have 30 days to appeal after the sentencing. Meanwhile, his sentencing is being postponed until March. Simmons is facing up to 10 years in prison. News 10 is following this case closely and will bring you updates as they become available.